Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com and welcome to my best of video for the cold air intake category, available for your 2015 and newer 2.7 liter EcoBoost powered F-150. Now the purpose of this video is to give you my top 3 choices currently on the site, based heavily off of customer feedback, but my own personal experience here as well. So, cold air intakes, a very popular modification with many enthusiasts out there because very easy to install along with being relatively affordable. Now, aside from that, you can also look forward to a little bit more power, a little bit more sound, in addition to dressing up under the hood of that new F-150. Now, all 3 of the intakes in this video are going to install rather easily in about an hour or less using basic hand tools, and none of them require the use of a custom tune. Now, will uploading a custom tune unlock massive gains with your EcoBoost? Absolutely. However, for the purpose of this video, we're going to be focusing in on the intakes themselves. So, without further ado, let's jump into my first pick. First up, we have the K&N Series 63 air charger for the 3.5 liter EcoBoost. Now, K&N really needs no introduction in the land of aftermarket filtration, and a lot of enthusiasts will simply go this route based on name and reputation alone. Now, besides being one of the most affordable in the category at the mid $200 price point, the Series 63 will also be one of the only options in the category and in this video that will utilize a portion of the factory intake, which is a feature I really like. Listen, Ford did a great job with designing the factory intake, and in my opinion, the K&N just takes things a step further. By tapping into the lower portion of your factory airbox here with the intake, you're going to be pulling in all of that fresh, cool air, while the lack of a complete airbox replacement will help keep the cost down over my next 2 selections. As far as your components are concerned, well, you're going to be looking at a high-density plastic black intake tube here, in addition to one of K&N's signature high-flow reusable filters. Now, this filter is washable, it is reusable, and can be oiled, basically saving you some money in the long run over those single-use factory filters. Also worth mentioning is the open element style filter here, which will certainly introduce a little bit more engine noise and a little bit more turbo noise compared to those sealed factory air boxes or other aftermarket sealed enclosures. Now, some owners might dig that extra noise, others maybe not so much. So if you're not a fan of all of that extra noise, you might want to stick to a sealed enclosure instead. Now, the Series 63 is the only intake on my list that is not CARB certified. So prospective buyers in CARB states will need to be aware of that fact and maybe consider a different option. But altogether, K&N claims gains of around 23 horsepower and 34 pound-feet of torque from the budget-friendly option, and the numerous 5-star reviews for the Series 63 made this an easy choice for my best of list here for the EcoBoost. Up next, we have the Air Raid MXP Cold Air with their Synthaflow oiled filter. Now, honestly guys, the Air Raid is a personal favorite of mine simply based off of its design and construction, because quite honestly, it's a really well done, great fitting intake that looks awesome under the hood and has some nice features other options do not. You will be paying for all of this, however, as the Air Raid is the most expensive in our list at just north of 400 bones. Let's first start with the build, and as you can see, unlike our K&N, the Air Raid is going to be a complete airbox replacement. So even things like the factory snorkel are going to get replaced by bits of the MXP from Air Raid. You're going to be looking at rotomolded plastic as far as the intake tube in addition to the airbox itself, and it does feature a removable sheet metal style lid, allowing this to be a sealed enclosure if you like, or pop that lid off and you'll have the open element filter design and everything that comes along with that. This particular MXP does feature Air Raid's very popular Synthaflow oiled filter, and it is washable and reusable just like the K&N. However, for owners who might prefer to have a dry filter instead, Air Raid does offer the same exact intake system, but with their Synthamax dry filter instead for a little bit more dough, or you just hang out a little longer and check out my third pick. But before we get into that third pick, I do want to point out that the Air Raid is CARB certified and is good for gains of around 33 horsepower and 35 foot-pounds of torque, according to the team over at Air Raid, which I will say will certainly be best case scenario for most owners out there. Altogether, guys, probably one of the nicest intakes in the category from a build standpoint, and a solid choice for our best of list here at AT. Last but not least, we have the crowd pleaser, the Roush Cold Air Intake System. By far and away the most popular system currently available for the EcoBoost powered trucks, with dozens and dozens of 5-star reviews. The Roush is going to combine a simple yet well-built design along with the knowledge gained from being one of Ford's leading factory tuners and part manufacturers for the last couple of decades. Like my other selections in this list, the Roush is going to feature a plastic intake tube that will tap into the cold side factory turbo piping. The Roush does also feature its own unique airbox, as you can see, that when equipped with the rubber seal is going to seal to the underside of your factory hood. However, since it's not a completely sealed enclosure like your factory airbox, expect to hear a little bit more engine noise and turbo noise coming from that EcoBoost power plant. Inside that airbox, you're going to find the reusable high-flow dry filter from Roush, which is a nice alternative to our first two choices and the oiled filters. Now, Roush doesn't give any exact horsepower or torque claims with their kit, but expect it to perform just as good as anything else in the category while also being CARB certified. All in all, guys, a very solid kit for just south of $400, and with its overwhelming popularity, the Roush was the easiest choice out of the three for our best of list. Well, that's gonna wrap us up here for my best of video in the cold air intake category, available for your 2015 and newer 2.7 liter powered EcoBoost F-150. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you do want any more information on any of the systems listed in this video, feel free to check out the respective product pages at any time, in addition to our other options here on the site. I'm Justin, thanks for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.